What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of BelleCollective Season 3, Episode 11, Clifton Rogers Neighborhood. So let's start off with So Gucci. So she's meeting up with her daughter, Dee, and her grandbaby. And it starts off with Dee telling Gucci that her and her man are not doing so well. I don't know. It's like probably the stress of being new parents, the stress of having a brand new baby in the house, that is probably causing some tension between her and her man. But y'all work it out. Y'all will definitely be able to work it out as the baby gets older and you kind of get into your routine and get into the groove of things. So Gucci talks about how she had filed charges against Selena for Selena attacking her at Latrice's wig event. So Dee is really mad that the girls, Selena's daughters, are mad at Gucci for filing these charges. I think Dee even says something about how, a person can only take so much until they finally have to take action. Dee says that Gucci, now this is what I found interesting. Dee tells her mother, So Gucci, she says that Gucci neglected her growing up to be there for JJ's kids. And the point that she was making was, how dare they be mad at you when you neglected your own daughter to be there for them? And I'm thinking to myself, you did that, Gucci? You really did that? You neglected your own kid so you can be there for children who have their own mother there? Like, that didn't make any sense to me. And that kind of broke my heart a little bit, for Dee to see your mother, bending over backwards for her new husband or her boyfriend's children, and you're getting the short end of the stick. So, yeah, I caught that. And so now, Gucci, I'm looking at you kind of differently now. So Dee says that Selena and her girls say that she and Gucci are jealous because they were on TV first. And Gucci says that Selena is now jealous because she's in the spotlight now. Like, who cares? Y'all are on these third-rate reality TV shows that really don't last that long, that really don't go anywhere once the cameras are shut off. Like, come on. It's not like y'all are on some big, major, like on a Bravo series or anything like that. Y'all are on OWN TV. Okay, it's a successful network. I think Tyler Perry, his shows come on OWN. But look, okay, y'all are not internationally known. So moving on from there. But the whole thing about, they're jealous because we were on TV first. Or, well, now she's jealous because I have the spot. That is so petty and so unimportant. Moving on from there, Akeisha. Akeisha invites Latrice to go painting. And this whole conversation here was for Akeisha to let Latrice know that they kind of sense that there's something going on between Latrice and her husband, Cliff. Like, they're worried about her. Akeisha starts off by asking her, is everything good between you and Cliff? And Latrice says yes. Akeisha doesn't believe it. Akeisha thinks that Latrice doesn't know her worth and doesn't have an outlet. So it was a way for, she wanted, to let Latrice know that, hey, you can talk about anything you want with me. It's okay. Because I think she even went on to say something about how, it takes a married woman to understand what another married woman is going through. And sometimes you can't confide in your single friends about your marital issues. I wonder if she was referring to Josh. You can't confide in your single friends about your marital issues because they will never understand. And so if you do have problems, it's best to go to a friend that is also married who will probably understand you better. But Latrice, she says that everything is fine between her and Cliff. Moving on to Letitia. She meets up with Gucci for a walk. Letitia says that she is very busy. She has her book that's coming out, which is called Why Side Pieces Win. And she also has her brunch tour. Brunches are extremely popular right now on these reality TV. If I see one more brunch. So she also has a brunch tour. And I'm still trying to figure out, Letitia, what do you do professionally? Is she just like a mentor or something? I don't understand. What does she do? What does she do to make money, to earn a living? So Gucci invites her to her charity event where they give out clothes every Christmas, and of course, Letitia says she's going to be there. She said that she also invited all of JJ's girls, but she did not invite Selena. Like, yeah, duh, you filed charges against her. There's probably a protective order out there. Gucci says that she is still mad at Latrice because she thinks that Latrice had set her up, for her to get beaten up by Selena. Once again. Selena didn't just come up out of nowhere. In fact, Selena was having a conversation with Tambra. Those two women were talking. Tambra invites Gucci over, to come say hi to them. Now, if anybody was doing the setup, why don't you blame Tambra for setting you up? Because she's the one that brought you into the lion's den. She comes up to them. Gucci didn't say squat to Selena, only acknowledged Tambra and kept it moving. And then Selena felt slighted. And she's like, wait a minute, didn't you see me standing here? And that's when it all went down. So this whole thing of Latrice, if you want to be mad at Latrice, you can probably find 1,000 other reasons to be mad at Latrice about. But to say that she set you up to get beaten up by Selena, I don't think that's the case, because all of those actions could have been prevented. The outcome could have been prevented if you made better choices. If you would have just acknowledged the woman, then I seriously doubt that it would have ended up the way that it did. I blame both Gucci and Selena for the way things happened, because they both handled it very, very poorly. What I don't understand is, if Gucci keeps on saying that Latrice set me up, but you have been in other spaces with Selena, you have been around her at other events. So why would this event be any different than the other time that y'all have spent together? Like, I don't get it. But moving on. So Gucci says that even if Latrice did not set her up, it sure looked like it. I don't see how it looked like it. She says her life right now, she says that Latrice's life is in shambles, and so she just wants to cause problems for other people. Letitia says that she's going to have a conversation with Latrice about her marriage. Letitia and Gucci both believe that Latrice's marriage is just a facade, that she's just putting on a fake front about how well things are going between her and Cliff when they really are not going that well at all. Latrice, so she's out on a date with Cliff. This was another difficult, anytime Latrice and Cliff are doing a scene together, my body tenses up, because I know it's about to go down and it's not going to be good for Latrice. So her and Latrice are out on a date. Her and Cliff are out on a date, and Latrice tells Cliff that she signed a contract with a major distributor that's going to be able to put her product in all kinds of stores nationwide. So Cliff says, well, you should have consulted with me before you signed the contract. And Latrice was like, well, this is something that I wanted to do for my business. And then Cliff was like, well, you usually don't read the fine print when it comes to contracts. And then I'm the one that you come to try to fix everything. And then she says, no, I read the fine print and, I didn't have an issue with it. And that's why I signed the contract. So Cliff says, I waste my breath talking to you, and I waste my time being with you. That man said that to her. I waste my time being with you. I mean, if that don't say that he's fed up with Latrice and this whole marriage to her, I don't know what else could, how can it be any more clear? So he gets up and he leaves. And you can tell every single time there's a scene with Latrice and Cliff, she ends up, it starts off with her holding back the tears. Then at the end, she can't hold them back no more. So when he got up and left, you can tell that she was struggling with her emotions. So he's actually outside waiting for her. So she comes outside to meet him because, they came there together, and he has the decency to not leave her there. So he says, you don't sign contracts without talking to me first. He continues to talk down at her, talking to her like she's a child. She tries to let him know that this is her business. She knows what she's doing. Latrice, then they get in the car and they drive off. But before they drove off, they do a close-up of Latrice sitting in the passenger seat. And, the girl is crying. And, it's that kind of cry that her throat is just throbbing, because how you try to keep in your cry and it's to the point where your throat hurts. You can tell that it was that type of a cry. And, she's trying to keep it together because she knows the cameras are on her. But she couldn't. The emotions were too strong. The way he humiliated her, it was too much. Her emotions had nowhere to go but out. And I just feel so bad that she has to put up with it, because he does not care how he talks to her, how he treats her in front of the camera. He is going to humiliate and embarrass the hell out of her on camera. And he just does not care how it looks, what people think, or how she feels. And I don't understand like why she's so confused and befuddled when the other Bells come to her and ask her, "Are you and Cliff okay?" And she knows that they're not, because every scene that she has with her husband, she's crying. Letitia, she's being interviewed by the local news because of her, I don't even know for what. So she is some sort of so here I guess this is where I kind of find out a little bit of what she does. It seems like she's a mentor, and she mentors young business women on how to navigate through the business world, or how to make their products better, or how to improve their business, or something like that. So she's some type of a business mentor. I guess she's like a business consultant. Yeah, let's call her that. She's a consultant. So Letitia had invited Marie, Marie Monroe, to join her. And so after they do the whole TV thing, they go inside and they have a conversation. Letitia asks Marie to be on the panel of one of her brunches, I think. So she tells Marie that she had also asked Latrice to be on the panel as well. Now, Marie saw this as a bad thing. She saw this as Letitia trying to force her and Latrice together, trying to force them to get along. And Marie does not see it for Latrice, because she keeps on calling Latrice a snake in the grass. She thinks that Latrice is a liar. And so she don't see it for her, and she doesn't want to work with her in any way. Plus, she tells Letitia, "Me and you cannot move forward in business until you apologize to me and acknowledge that I did try to warn you about Latrice, but you didn't listen and you got bit by that snake." So at first, Letitia tries to defend herself and say, I only went by what she told me. I forgot what the issue was, but there was some type of issue last season or season before, I have no idea, where Latrice had said something to Letitia. What was it about? I can't remember. I don't know if it has something to do with whether or not, I think Latrice was trying to destroy Marie's business or something. And she was working with somebody to try to bring like negative, like try to make Marie, like give her business like a really bad reputation, like trying to say that Marie was doing something really unethical and underhanded with her businesses. And I think Letitia had believed Latrice, but it was just a bunch of lies. And so I don't know if I'm saying this right. I don't know if this is correct or not. This is I'm trying to remember. And so Marie was telling Letitia, don't believe her. She's a liar. And so Letitia really didn't take heed to what Marie was saying, and she continued on being really friendly with Latrice. And so right now she's telling Marie, I only went by what she told me. I had no reason to think that she would lie to me. And so they go back and forth with that. And Marie tells Letitia, you never really held her responsible or accountable for lying to you. So Marie says her and Letitia cannot move forward in business until Letitia apologizes to Marie. Letitia finally does apologize to Marie for not taking heed to what she had told her about Latrice. Marie asks about, so then they get that squared away. Okay, so now they're back on the same page with that. So I guess now Marie is going to be on the panel because Letitia has apologized, has acknowledged, yes, Almighty One, I should have listened to you. You were right all along. I should never have believed anything Latrice had said. So now that they got that squared away, Marie brings up Glenn. And so Letitia says that things are better between her and Glenn and that they're dating again. So Marie says in her confessional, she says, I think it's best for Letitia and Glenn to part ways. So Marie thinks they should part ways. Letitia's mother thinks that her and Glenn should part ways. I think that her and Glenn should part ways, because a man who will do that to you, where he could possibly have had a child outside of your marriage and you have done nothing to do, because Letitia seems like that kind of wife who goes above and beyond for her husband, cooks, cleans, takes care of her own business, takes care of the child. She does it all 110% for this man. And this man still went out there and cheated on her and possibly could have, had a baby outside of their marriage. And he could have also, a whole lot worse than a baby, he could have gotten a disease and brought it right back to her. So after all of that, we're dating again and things are so wonderful. Girl, if he's willing, people think that because my husband did this really horrible thing by cheating on me and possibly having a baby outside our marriage, he will never do this again because, we went through a lot. He would never, trust him. He will do it again and again and again. The next time, the DNA test will definitely say, Glenn, you are the father. And what are you going to do then, Letitia? What are you going to do then? Moving on. Letitia. No, not Letitia, Latrice. Latrice has been staying with her brother. She done moved out the house. She moved out of that glass house. And now she's been staying with her brother, Derek, for a little bit because she needs a break. She tells her mom comes over to talk to her and she says that she needs a break from life, from Glenn, from her business, from everything. So she's staying with her brother right now. And her brother is out of town. So she really has, peace and quiet. So Latrice says, she tells her mom about Cliff and how obsessive he is and how controlling he is. And she says that this is coming from the fact that he's so afraid to lose her. And I'm thinking, Latrice, did you not hear your husband tell you at the restaurant that he was wasting his time with you? But you say that he is afraid to lose you. I don't think Glenn could care less because Glenn, to me, if Latrice left him, he's just going to find another Latrice. There's plenty of them out there. He's going to find somebody younger, dumber, to take her place. It ain't nothing to Cliff. So I think she's more afraid to lose him. Okay, maybe it's for financial reasons. Maybe because she's looking for a father figure. I don't know what the hell it is. But I think when it comes to who's afraid to lose who, I think Latrice is more afraid to lose Glenn than Glenn is to lose her. Because he treats her like trash. So if he really was concerned about her leaving, he wouldn't treat her this way. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. I understand that she wants to tie it back to some troubling childhood that, his obsessiveness. It's not about the fact that he's obsessive and controlling. That's not even it. He's mean. Okay, he is mean. Because there are men who can be obsessive and they can be very controlling, but they're not mean. And of course, the whole concept of being controlling is like, okay, that is still a mean act, but they can do it in a way that you don't even feel like you're being controlled, because they know how to manipulate you, how to make you feel good, how to make you feel safe, how to make you feel comfortable, how to make you feel protected. And it's like, oh, I'm doing this out of love, baby, because, whatever. Cliff is not one of those guys. He does it from meanness. He controls her in a really mean way. He's a very mean person to her. So maybe you can say, okay, because of his childhood or whatever, his upbringing, that's why he's so controlling. But that doesn't excuse why he's so mean to you. So Latrice wants them to be more like equals. She also blames herself because this is another thing about Latrice that you can tell that she's in a sunken place because she blames herself for the way Cliff is because of the fact that she had called him Zaddy. She refers to him as Zaddy. And so she kind of gave him the authority. She feels like she gave him the authority to be a father figure for her. And that's why he treats her like a child and doesn't want her to do anything without consulting with him first. But girl, this is in his DNA to be this way. It's not because you called him Zaddy. You can call him Zaddy, Cliff, Clifton, Clifford, Dr. Huxtable, whatever you want to call him. He is still going to be this way because of this is just how he is. He's really old school, really old fashioned, really backwards. And it's not because you called him Zaddy. Okay, it's because he found a woman who was allowing herself to be controlled by a man who was always controlling. So she says, I'm going to stop calling him Zaddy. Girl, you can stop calling him Zaddy. You can stop calling him whatever. He will still be the same. He don't give a damn about that. He will still treat you the same. I don't know if she thinks that things are going to change because she's going to call him by his government name now. So Latrice says that she doesn't want her marriage to improve. She doesn't want her marriage to be better because her mom says, in the beginning of y'all's relationship, things were really, really good. And Latrice says, yeah, but I don't want it to be as good as it was. I want it to be better than that. If you want it to be better than that, Latrice, you're going to have to get you a whole new husband because you won't see that in Cliff. He is too old and too set in his ways to become this new revolutionized man, modern man of 2023 going on 2024. Cliff will not be that. He will not be that because he likes to have women who are so much younger than him. He's always going to think that they're not as smart as he is. They haven't lived as long as him. They don't have enough knowledge or as much knowledge as he does. There's no way he's ever going to see Latrice as his equal. It's just not going to happen. So This whole season, he has been mean to her. This whole entire season, this man has been really mean to her. Moving on from there, so Gucci and her charity event. So at the charity event, everybody shows up, except for Selena because she got that protective order. Sanjay and Sky show up, but I guess Star was at home with the baby. Sanjay and Sky are there. Even Tambra popped in for a hot second, but then she had to get right back to the studio. She had nowhere to go, nothing to do. She just didn't want to stay too long. So Letitia wants to use this opportunity to have a conversation with Latrice about her marriage. So she pulls Latrice to the side. So Letitia says that Cliff is treating her like a little girl and that everybody's talking about her marriage. Her marriage is a topic of conversation all over the place. So she basically tells Latrice, you can't hide the fact that you are struggling in your marriage, that you're having issues with your husband, because Cliff makes it known that there's problems because he treats you any kind of way whenever you're around other people. He talks to you any kind of way and people can see, and we can see that there are issues in your marriage. So Letitia says, Letitia then tells her, Cliff is publicly disrespecting you. Now, this is how I felt about Letitia approaching Latrice about Latrice's marriage. Because it's so easy for Latrice to come back and say, well, at least my husband didn't have a maybe baby on me. At least, my husband ain't out here doing DNA tests because he got some random pregnant. Letitia, your intentions are good. They are good. Number one, I really don't believe in other people bringing up other people's marital issues just out of nowhere. Like, I cannot see myself calling up my girlfriend and be, hey girl, I want to talk to you about your husband. I can't see myself doing that because even people who know that they're in a bad marriage, when someone else brings it up, I think they just initially and naturally want to defend because your marriage is a reflection of you. And so you feel like, well, if someone is bringing up the problems in my marriage and they're not a counselor, a therapist, or anything like that, and it's one of my girlfriends or whatever, they're coming to me and they're bringing up my marital problems, it's going to be like they're judging me. Like, how could you be with that man who does this to you? And it's like you feel like you're being judged. Even if they're not judging you, you feel like you're being judged. And I think that's why people are a little bit defensive when other people bring up their marital problems. So if I was Letitia, what I would do is I would treat her to like a spa day or whatever, take her out to eat, invite her on trips or whatever. I would do that to support my friend. I would not pull her to the side and be like, girl, everybody's talking about your marriage. Everybody's talking about it because we see it. Your husband treats you like this and like that, and he's so disrespectful. Latrice is going to be on the defense because what do you want her to do? To go to the courthouse tomorrow and go file for divorce? She's not going to do that. She's not going to do that. She is still under the control of this man. And so whatever result you're expecting, you're not going to get it. They're going to shoot the messenger. Okay, this married couple, they're going to shoot the messenger. She's going to go home. She might tell her husband what you said because, number one, she wants her husband to know people are talking about our issues. So you need to change. He's not going to change. He's going to get mad at her. He's going to get mad at her friends. And then she's going to feel this pressure to not hang out with them anymore because her husband's going to be like, oh, you're going to hang out with those women who want to talk about your marriage. And I do this and that for you. I provide for you. I give you this big old glass house. You're able to run your little business and do whatever because I'm the one that's holding it down and I'm paying all the bills and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And so then she's probably going to feel guilty. And then she ain't going to go nowhere because if Josh, who was living with them and she was confiding in Josh, if Josh could not make her see the light, I don't see how Letitia can, especially when Letitia has her own marital issues. I don't think Letitia was the best one. Akeisha tried. She went nowhere. And Akeisha, her marriage seems to be pretty much intact. Akeisha tried. That went nowhere. Gucci knows better than to bring it up because Latrice and Gucci, they don't really see it for each other. I wouldn't feel comfortable bringing up my friend's marital problem. Like, she came to me, I'm gonna let her have it. If she came to me and she wanted my honest opinion, I would tell her, this is what I think, because you're coming to me and you're asking me and you're confiding in me. I'm gonna tell you the way it is, but I'm not gonna bring up her marital problems because I don't think it's gonna work. If they're not talking about their issues, you don't talk about their issues. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.